Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm super excited to be sharing my warm reviews of the 25 scents that are coming back on July 1st as a part of Bring Back My Bar in Scentsy. I have had some real surprises in this bunch and it was so fun melting through these. I am loving getting early access to them and I'm excited to check out everybody else's reviews and see what folks have been thinking. I can't wait to catch up with all of my favorite channels. If you have a channel, be sure to leave a comment with your channel below so that I can see what your thoughts were as you warmed through these. I truly enjoy that. Also, just as a quick reminder, because we all warm differently, I am a Scentsy consultant, so I do use almost exclusively, and really right now exclusively, Scentsy Warmers. And those warmers are on for about 15 hours a day. I know some folks melt 24/7. That's not me. So when I say a day, I mean 15 hours. Now, when I got to thinking about going through these 25 bars, I was first a bit overwhelmed. So what I did was I made little like power groupings where they could almost be in like little wax heats, kind of competing against each other for my attention and affection.
Ready,
So
fight.
I have put them in groups. They don't necessarily make sense. They are not formal categories. It's just a strategy for me to hopefully meet some of my goals regarding making sure that I eliminate bringing in too many bars or too many similar bars, either in where I might melt them or what their fragrance family is, as well as help me to make quick, confident decisions about what I might want to either just stock up on while it's available or might bring into my club. My first random category I'm calling Herbaceous and Grassy. These are all bars that I've melted before, and I tended to use them in open concept, lemon lavender, lemon verbena, and farmer's market. Let's start with lemon lavender. I did melt this in my bedroom because I wanted to see how it performed given the lavender note. And that was a mistake, in my opinion, because when I have melted this prior in my open concept, it was a banger and I remembered that and it went for days. But I do not recall the lemon and the lavender competing as much as they did when I placed this in the bedroom. It was overwhelming to me for, I would say, the first 6 to 8 hours. And then on the back half of the day, it became more pleasant. And I only used 2 cubes. So for me, this one, I think I melted it in probably not the best location. I'm going to give it another shot in open concept and see if I find that the lemon and the lavender compete when it's kind of in a more open space. The next one is lemon verbena. Now, the scent notes on this one are lemon, lime, and verbena leaf. I don't get any lime when I smell this at all. Primarily, what I get is the verbena leaf, and it is spot on. It smells like a verbena leaf. And this is part of the reason that I really enjoy this in the spring and the summer. As an open concept warm, it's another great performer. I would say an open concept for me, it's about a medium. And that was consistent, and it's consistent from start to finish for me. And I get right around 25 to 30 hours out of it. So it's just like a day, day and a half to 2 days that I can get in my open concept. And it's just a bright, beautiful, grassy, herbal fragrance. So I really enjoy that one. Next up is an absolute favorite of mine, and this is Farmer's Market. This, when I melted this bar, I knew that I enjoyed it in the past, but this was kind of the star of this grouping for me. Its scent notes are carrots, cucumber, and a hint of rose, and this delighted everyone in my home. It's really just does give you that sort of fresh market feeling. It's beautiful for a summer day, just as you're coming in and out of your home. It's kind of hard to describe, but you do get all of those notes. You get the carrot, you get the cucumber, and you get what I would define as a hint of rose. I typically don't love floral scents, and this does not lean floral to me. It leans more like you are literally walking through an open air market and you're getting little hints of all of the fresh produce and things that are available. It's just a bright, beautiful bar. So, as I'm looking at these kind of comparatively, the far and away winner is Farmers Market. I think this is one that I'm likely to add to my club. I was really pleasantly surprised at how well it performed. It did give us good, consistent performance throughout, and it was one that everybody commented on and enjoyed. So, of those three, Farmers Market is the winner for me. My second grouping I'm calling bakery ish because I've grouped together here three bars that are bakery adjacent or maybe bakery reminiscent, but they are not full on bakery bars to me. And I have here Bakery Meringue, Dolce de Leche, and Buzzworthy going head to head. I'm going to start with Dolce de Leche, and I have to say, I feel like this bar is perfectly named. To my memory, this is what Dolce de Leche smells like. It's certainly very similar. This is a heavy cream with a very thick caramel smell that is absolutely pervasive. It is goes into every nook and cranny of the room and it fills the space beautifully if you love heavy, rich scents. For me, I do love caramel fragrances. I don't love all caramel fragrances. This is one that I really do like. However, I will say it is a hot and humid time of year, and so it was not my preference when I was melting it because I prefer something like caramel sugar cone that is a little lighter in the air during hotter months. But I think during the fall and the winter months, this will be a beautiful bar. Everyone in my household doesn't love sweet fragrances, so it would be a specific location bar for me, but it is beautiful and very well named. Next up, we have Blackberry Meringue. The scent notes on this are blackberry, sugared fig, black plum, and ground spice. Now, I will say for me, this is a bakery ish bar and not a bakery bar, in that to me, it's a fruity bar. I definitely pick up the blackberries. I definitely pick up the sugared fig and the black plum, and I enjoy them all. I feel like the ground spice is there to just provide a warmth, but it's not a note that is present to do anything other than bring the blackberry, sugared fig, and black plum together to create this warm, sweet, delicious bar. It's just absolutely lovely. Next up, we have Buzzworthy. The scent notes on this bar are sugared almonds, warm vanilla, and a drizzle of honey. And that is exactly what this smells like. It was completely deceptive to me on cold sniff. I primarily picked up the honey and I really didn't pick up an almond or amaretto note at all. I will say that I feel like it's a well balanced bar and it does give you this sort of sugared almond, crunchy, um, fragrance in the air. It reminds me of when I toast almonds in the oven, and then we might be using them for some sort of a treat that we're making later. So it is like a, to me, again, a bakery adjacent bar. Lovely for the kitchen. Really enjoyed this bar. I really enjoyed Buzzworthy, even though it is a divisive bar. I enjoyed actually all three of these bars. I think they're each beautiful and unique in their own ways. I think the least unique of the three is probably Blackberry Meringue, but I think it has broader appeal in that it can likely be melted year round, whereas Dolce de Leche, for a lot of us, maybe isn't going to be able to be melted in those summer months. So it's just not quite as versatile. But Buzzworthy is definitely my pick from this group. I just think it's so unique and it's a very interesting bar, and I'm pleased as punch with it. Speaking of punch, let's talk about this fruity grouping that I put together. Now, this is my biggest group, and I have Berries Jubilee, Juicy Peach, Apple Crush, Berry Bubble Blue, Wild Watermelon, and Red Delicious all going head to head. We're going to start with Berries Jubilee, and if I have a womp of this Bring Back My Bar season, it is this bar. I will say I do smell like the vanilla and a bit of the berry, but only when I'm incredibly close to the warmer. It just does not throw for me in any sense. And so I'm struggling to review this one because I couldn't smell it very well on cold. The berry was incredibly light. The vanilla almost non-existent. It's just very much muddled. So I don't know if it's a bad bar that I have, but I don't want to dwell on it, but just didn't throw for me. So can't really review that one. Next up, I have Juicy Peach. Now, Juicy Peach, this is what it says it is. Its scent notes are that it is a peach. And I do think that this does hit that mark. I will say with this particular peach, I feel like it needs to be blended. It's just it's not flat in the same way that Berry's Jubilee is. It's definitely communicating that sort of fleshy peach, but it doesn't really read like a fresh peach to me. So it's a bit confusing to my nose when I'm smelling it in the air because it feels like it's missing something. So this would be a bar that I might consider blending, but I'm not a huge lover of peach, so I don't think that will be a bar for me. Next up, we have Apple Crush. Now, this to me smells absolutely like a green apple Jolly Rancher. It's so fun. We particularly enjoy this in bedrooms. I remember it from the catalog in years prior when it was in the kids section. It just really does smell like a good green apple. It's not overly sugared. When I say it smells like a Jolly Rancher, there's not a forward sugar note to it. It's definitely blended to be a green apple scent, but it's just to me and to everyone in my house that it just gives the vibe of like a green apple Jolly Rancher. So it's a fun, bright, playful scent and really enjoyable. Great performer, good medium throw. I get about 20 to 30 hours out of it, and it's a good one. Like that bar, and I was glad to have another one to try. Now, this is Berry Bubble Blue, and this is absolutely to my nose like a blue raspberry cotton candy. It's light in the air and it's fun. It feels a bit, it's not a fizzy pop, but it feels just effervescent and playful in an elevated way. So I really can't overstate how lovely this bar is. If you like blue raspberry, if you like fruity, playful scents, if you're a fan of cotton candy that isn't heavy, this is just a very unique and beautiful bar, and I am super confident that this one is going into my club because it's just very unique. And the blue raspberry is something that not a lot of people hit out of the park, and I think Scentsy did with this one. Next up, in the realm of playful scents, we have Wild Watermelon. Now, this is one that I do have experience with. It's an old favorite of mine, and so I'm happy to have it back. The scent notes here are watermelon, green apple, and sugared pineapple. And I will say this is a medium performer in my open concept, medium to strong in bedrooms and clothes concept. I typically get about a day and a half to 2 days, so somewhere around 25 to 30 hours for me out of a single melt on this. And I do not distinctly pick up like the green apple and the sugared pineapple. The dominant note to me is the watermelon, and that watermelon just smells sweet and bright and fresh. And I think the green apple and sugared pineapple just provide some balance to the fragrance. So it's really delightful and enjoyable all summer long, also into the spring. Really like that one. Now, next up, we have Red Delicious, and this is one that I knew I was going to enjoy because I do have experience with it. I couldn't remember um, distinct things about this bar, but as I smelled it on cold and then I melted it on warm, I realized this is definitely my favorite available apple scent. So I do think this is going to go into my club just because I think this will be great. It's lovely on its own. It's a year-round fragrance, and I do prefer it to Johnny Appleseed. So I'm definitely adding this one to my club for at least a little bit of time so that I can get a stockpile of this one. I do like Johnny Appleseed, but this one is just a little more well balanced, and it's not as in your face as Johnny Appleseed is. So that is my first favorite from this bunch. And then I think in my number two spot, I would put Wild Watermelon. And in my third spot, just for frequency of melting, I would put Berry Bubble Blue. But honestly, all three of these are club contenders for me. I'm going to be shocked if I don't end up putting all three in my club. Now, on to my next category. I grouped these four together because they have beverage-y vibes to me, and that's what I'm calling the category. It's coconut daiquiri, coconut citrus parfait, lime and sugarcane, and reggae sunset. And I just feel like these all sort of give that tropical drink reminiscent vibe to them. So I want to pare down my selection out of these four. Now, the first one that I'm going to start with is coconut citrus parfait. The scent notes on this one are coconut milk, vanilla, and a hint of citrus. Now, I will say this one did go for about 2 days for me, so right around 30 hours, and it was a solid performer. It performed at about a medium the entire time. I did find this not objectionable, but I found it peculiar when I was smelling it in the air. I could pick up the hint of citrus, but there was something about the coconut milk and the vanilla that were just neutral and almost a little flat. It's like these two notes kind of were flat. It wasn't a warm, rich vanilla, and so it did something to make the citrus almost seem a little bit artificial. And so I didn't particularly care for the fragrance. I don't think it's one that I would pick up or club, but it may mature differently because of the vanilla. Next up in this category, I have Reggae Sunset. This lists with scent notes of mandarin, orange blossom, hint of lime with a spicy finish. This was a good medium throw. I again got right around 30 hours, so 2 full days out of it. Really good performance and great throw. I will say when I smelt this on cold sniff, it felt reminiscent to me of the Everlasting Gobstopper bar from Willy Wonka, if that bar was not sweet at all. Now, there is a sweetness to mandarin, obviously, but the orange blossom, the lime, and the spicy finish on this are just truly unique, and it really does give like that sunset sort of vibe. So, this is a warmer bar than I anticipated it would be, and so it's warm and bright, and this is one that is a contender for me for my club as well. I really enjoyed it, and it's a very unique take on an orange scent. Next up here we have lime and sugarcane, and I really enjoyed this bar. It lists with scent notes of lime, sugarcane, and a hint of frozen mint. I really enjoyed this bar. The surprise note for me is the sugarcane, which I can very clearly discern. I think this is going to be an outstanding bar if you like to mix. And I don't particularly pick up the mint in this bar, but the lime is beautiful. And I definitely can tell that there is a hint of mint, but it's just not as dominant as I would like as someone who likes lime and mint together. So I would still add a little bit of mint fields to this, and I did, but it was a very good bar. Really pleased with it. Next up, we have coconut daiquiri. This list was scent notes of coconut milk, vanilla cream, and banana. And given my feelings on the other coconut bar, the coconut citrus parfait, I was a little bit nervous about this one. I have to say, I had not melted this before, even though it existed for a while in the catalog. I get the banana straight away. On cold, I could not smell hardly anything. It smelled like a wax bar. On warm, it is just so delicious. This went for 3 solid days in my open concept, which is amazing. And it's just an absolutely beautiful coconut milk that it just smells like a beautiful coconut daiquiri. and it's gorgeous. I get all of it. I get the banana, I get the vanilla, I get the coconut, and this is far and away my favorite of this grouping, and it's in my top two or three from the entire collection of 25. So, coconut daiquiri is one that I think should not be missed if you are at all inclined. I would say my number two for this category is Reggae Sunset, and then my number three is Lime and Sugarcane. I would not be surprised if I pick up some of these while they're available, and I'm pretty sure at least coconut daiquiri is going to land in my club. Now, when it comes to lime and sugar cane, one of the things that is kind of keeping it on a bubble for me is the existence of cocoa lime. I do think that the sugarcane note is distinct enough that that would be hard to approximate in blending, but I love cocoa lime mixed with mint fields, and I feel like that gets close, but that sugarcane note is unique. So that one's on the bubble for me. My next category is just comprised of two bars, Sea Sun and Fun and Sea Salt Mist. I'm calling this Beachy Salty Summer Aromatics. I really did think on cold that these were sort of similar families. They're quite different bars, actually, but let's just jump right into it and we'll talk through it. So, Sea Sun and Fun, based on the scent notes. The scent notes list saltwater, orange twist, lily, and amber. And I was really shocked by this bar. I did not get any of those notes. Now, primarily what I had heard from folks who loved this bar and who didn't was that this was a sunscreen bar. And I do tend to like sunscreen bars. I also like aquatic bars and I like salty sea air in the right application. But for me, this did not come across as sunscreen. It came across very much like a pool, like a chlorinated pool. It's not, a bad pool. It's just not what I was expecting at all. I don't pick up the amber. I definitely don't pick up the hint of citrus, and it's not one that I think I would choose again. Next, we have sea salt mist. Now, the scent notes on this list as beach grass, ocean mist, sea salt, mandarin, and amber. I can see some of these notes, but for me, it primarily is just salty sea air. I don't get a lot of the beach grass. It was a good performer. It was light to medium, and it was just like a spray of salty sea air. I didn't pick up any of kind of those more nuanced notes, so it was a bit of a one note bar. It was fresh, bright. It feels like it lasted about 15 to 20 hours. I did take it out because it was just a little bit bland for me. So, of the two, I would probably pick this sea salt mist because I do think it freshens a space nicely. But overall, not a category that I think I'll be purchasing from. My next category includes Shaka, Dark Harbor, and Highway Run. I felt like these were the three most masculine scents of the bunch. And we're going to start here with Shaka. This was a great performer for me. It lists as scent notes of rich sandalwood, bergamot, and lime. I don't pick up the lime at all. That doesn't mean it's not there because there was a bit of a brightness added, but mostly I get this really heavy bergamot and sandalwood. It's a very rich, masculine cologne smell that leans a little incensey. I think if you like dark cologne scents, it could work very well in a closed concept used sparingly, and it could definitely carry a open concept. But for me, I got 3 days in the bathroom, and it was a good performer. Next up, we have Dark Harbor. Now, Dark Harbor lists with scent notes of lime, mint, ocean lavender, and amber. I will say again, I did not, or at least I wasn't in this formulation able to pick up or discern either the lime or the mint. And I'm perplexed by the ocean lavender scent note um, because it's listed as ocean lavender in the description. It's not listed as ocean spray, comma, lavender. And then it also lists amber. I do pick up what I consider to be a very aquatic, oceanic scent as the dominant note in this. I also distinctly pick up amber and lavender, and it was a beautiful medium to light medium throw in my open concept. So that was a good one. I got just under a day. Next up, we have Highway Run. I was really excited to try this one because I saw a lot of campaigning going on to bring this bar back, and that always makes me excited when I can see people that are actively trying to bring a fragrance back. It lists with scent notes of eucalyptus buds, cedar, amber, and vetiver. I did not find the eucalyptus to be forward. It's a beautifully blended bar, and it is a cologne fragrance to me. While it does have some of those more woody elements to it, and of course with the vetiver, that should provide a grassy note, but I don't particularly pick it up. It just does feel like a very moody and it's a dark, slightly heavy, moody, evocative of like just makes you want to curl up and read a book kind of fragrance. I really enjoyed it. And I think out of these three, that would be my number one pick, would be the Highway Run. I do think they're quite different, these fragrances. I think the Shaka leans, it's very sharp and strong and incensey. Dark Harbor is aquatic, and Highway Run is, it does lean woody, but it's a cologne woody that isn't sharp and is pretty great. My next pairing is Perfume that leans feminine, and this includes Surfer Chick and Happy Go Lucky. Now, Happy Go Lucky is listed with scent notes of silky orchid, red berries, Japanese plum, amber, and vanilla. And this is beautiful. It was a light to light medium throw for me, but it was absolutely gorgeous in my bedroom. This to me very much is like a self care day kind of vibe. When I first melted this, I was very pleased with the consistency of the performance. So it did last. It got me a full, I would say, 20 to 25 hours and beautiful in a bedroom. I also will say if you have ever melted Teddy B's cashmere bubble bath, I actually thought that I had cashmere bubble bath in when I first melted this. So they're very similar in vibe. It's fun and a really nice, lovely, feminine kind of self care scent. Next up, we have Surfer Chick, and Surfer Chick lists with scent notes of lemon tonic, guava, cherries, and blackberry. To me, these scent notes don't really match well with what the fragrance actually presents on warm. It is very fruity, but I would say this is just very clearly communicating a perfume. And it smells familiar to me. Like it smells like a perfume that I have smelled in the past. So to me, it definitely leans body care. It's feminine and it's perfumey, but it's not sharp in tone at all. So it's a lovely fragrance and I really enjoyed it. It performed really well in my open concept. I got right at 30 to 35 hours. So just over 2 days. I would say between the two of these, it would come down to me where I wanted to melt them. I feel like Happy Go Lucky is a bar that really would need to be in a bedroom or a bathroom or a smaller closed concept space. Server Chick is a bit more versatile, going open concept, closed concept, bedroom. It could go anywhere. Now, my final two are Breakfast Blend and Sandalwood and Cranberry. They're not really a grouping, but I couldn't group them anywhere else, so here they are. This is Breakfast Blend, and it lists as brewed coffee in its scent notes, and I think that's exactly what it smells like. It's a nice, strong brewed coffee. This was an outstanding performer for me. I will say I don't keep my straightforward coffee scents like this on all day long. I tended to have this on for about 6 hours at a time, and it lasted a full week for me in my office space. The first day I did it alternate warmers with BANANAS and king cake, and that was such a gorgeous morning. I also did warm it one morning completely by itself just to see what the fragrance was alone. It's a bold brewed coffee fragrance. I think if you are new to coffee and you're not sure about it, it may not be the starting point, but if you like to blend coffee, it's a good one. Now, this is last but certainly not least, this is sandalwood and cranberry. And for me, I have a nostalgic connection to this bar, so I was very pleased to discover that the scent notes of sandalwood, cranberry, and spice were just as I remembered. Now, I will say, just like Reggae Sunset, this spice is not spicy. It just provides like a warmth to the dominant note of sandalwood and cranberry, and I find this bar to be just nostalgic and wonderful. It's a great performer. For me, it gave me just at about 2.5 days of warming, and I'm really excited that my nose hasn't changed and I still really enjoy this bar, and that the bar is just as I remember, which that doesn't always happen. So I was really super happy about that. Now, if I was to put my top picks or recommendations, I of course am going to say sandalwood and cranberry is best in show for me, but it is very, very closely followed by coconut daiquiri. This bar is just climbing up to the top of my favorites list. It's so good, such a great performer, super yummy, perfect for this time of year. One of the things that I love about things like Bring Back My Bar is I really do enjoy adventuring into fragrances that people have extreme reactions to. So I have to put Buzzworthy up here for that reason alone. I do think it's a risky bar because people tend to either love this bar or hate it. I found it enjoyable and I just think it's worth giving a try. For uniqueness, I have to give my fourth position also to Reggae Sunset because the warmth that almost woody, warm spice note with the orange blossom to me is just very unique and worth trying. My fifth spot has to go to Red Delicious because it's just such a great apple scent and I think it could perform year round. Similarly, my number six spot goes to Wild Watermelon because it is such a great watermelon scent. It's such a strong performer, which can be hard to come by in a watermelon fragrance. And I think it's also just so fun and playful. It's one that shouldn't be missed. Now, I will say, I think I need to have a top nine rather than a top six. So, my very close number seven would be the very fun Berry Bubble Blue. I just really enjoy this blue raspberry scent. I do think it's special in the realm of cotton candy scents. It's great in an open concept and not too sweet, but plenty of fun. My number eight spot would go to Highway Run because I think it's a relatively broadly appealing masculine scent. Broadly appealing, but on the feminine side of things, I would say Surfer Chick is a good performing bar that can handle an open concept, and it grabs my number nine spot. Have you had experience with these bars before? Let me know in the comments. If you were one of the folks that had early access to this run, I'd love to know what your favorites and least favorites are from this collection. And if you're just waiting to get your hands on them, tell me, which ones are you interested in most and which ones are you interested in least? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy summer, y'all.